What's good, my man in society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like and comment. It is free. You know what I mean? That's how you'll help my channel get into the algorithm. I would highly appreciate it. Now, what I wanted to get into today was something that I was watching West Coast Graffiti. Go subscribe to West Coast Graffiti's channel. Go check out the his latest video where he talks about the word paisa. Is it offensive? Which sparked up the idea for this video. So shout out to homie. Go subscribe to his channel. And that's what I wanted to talk about, right? The disconnection relationship between paisas and Chicanos, right? People, the raza's internal struggles, our internal beefs amongst each other, right? And why does that happen? Why is it that the raza likes to put the raza down, hold the raza down, and we just hate on each other and vice, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, oh, sorry for the background noises. It's, I live in Southern California. It's raining. And we've been having these storms, so, you might hear the rains in the background because it's kind of raining kind of hard. Now, and I'm at work, and I work in a cooler, so right now it's like horrendous. Now, when it comes to the raza, people have to understand this. When people talk about raza, and even though we are all brown, we are talking about two different cultures, though. The paisano culture, the ties to the motherland, the roots, and they're proud to be Mexicanos, and that's where they come from. So they have a tie to the motherland, right? And then you have Chicanos, who are also raza, who are also Mexican, but we're born here and have our roots here and tied to here, and we have love for, the areas in which we grew up from, whether it be Texas, Arizona, Las Vegas, California, New York, Chicago, whatever, right? So we're brought here. We're brought up here. So in reality, it's two different cultures, right? Because it's not the same culture, right? So therefore, and this is not only applied to Chicanos and paisas, but to everything. The reason why racism exists, as a matter of fact, as well, or the reason why you have certain groups clashing with each other and arguments and stuff like that, because when somebody comes or a group comes, right, to where you're at, and how they do things, how they view things is different from how you do things. I'm not saying wrong, I'm saying different than what you're used to. It tends to bother people, right? When instead of it letting it bother you, or instead of talking shit and what, try to understand their culture and try to understand that not everybody's the same. We all do things differently, and that's cool. That's perfectly fine. We can learn from each other and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Difference doesn't mean it's bad. You know what I mean? You as an adult have to know that people are just going to be different from you and are going to do things different from what you're accustomed to. And that's perfectly fine. Don't mean that your culture is better or their culture is better or none of that. See, that's the problem with, one of the reasons why the United States has so many problems when it comes to, ethnicities, because you have so many different ethnicities and so many different cultures in one area that people tend to clash with each other. When the Italians first got here, when the Irish first got here, when the Asians first got here, when the raza first got here, when the Middle Easterns first got here, you see the tensions, the beefs, the arguments, the videos of hate crimes and stuff like that, right? Because now you're getting a group of individuals flocking to your area and you're not used to their customs, and instead of trying to understand their customs or try or understand and respect that they're just like that, and because the world is not made to be painted in your image. People are not made to live how you live. If that's how you live, that's fine. Don't worry about them, worry about you. You know what I mean? Don't try to force your living or your thoughts or anything like that on others. We're all going to be different, and that's perfectly fine. And that's one of the main reasons why the Chicanos and the paisas, tend to clash, right? Because, they call us pochos, and then, we ridicule them for paisas. You know what I mean? You get a lot of hate from both sides. Chicanos hate on paisas, paisas hate on Chicanos. It does happen. And yes, I am aware that, there is groups that get along and stuff like that, but there's a lot of internal fighting. In Mexico, they view us as not real Mexicans, bootleggers. They hate on us. You know what I mean? They don't like cholos over there. They don't like the whole Chicano and all that. They don't like none of that. They feel like that's not Mexican, and that's fake. That's not what it is. And then we view them over here as like, well, um, not standing up for themselves and not on the same level and stuff like that. You know what I mean? When in reality, well, we're all raza, but the thing is that we come from two different worlds, right? We're not used to their customs, they're not used to our customs, and that's why you have internal beefs. Because one person was saying in the West Coast Graffiti show is that where he worked at, he's a Chicano, where he worked at, it was mainly paisas, and they would hate on him. And I have had that happen to me as well, where they try to throw you under the bus, because you're the Chicano, whatever. And because everybody's looking after themselves, right? They might fear you might take their jobs or whatever, because you speak English and you're from this country, that they view you as a threat. You know what I mean? So they, band together to try to eliminate the threat. And then we don't view them as the same level as us. Like, that fool ain't gonna do nothing. That fool's just a paisa. not a narco cartel traficante. A paisa. There's a difference from, see, people confuse paisas for narco traficantes. They're two different things, bro. A paisano, just a regular paisa guy who has no cartel ties to him or none of that. And then you have the narco traficantes. They're different from paisas, bro. You know what I mean? These are narcotraficantes, pinches pistoleros and all that. These are paisas, just regular dudes who come from the motherland who are just trying to work and don't want no problems. See? Don't confuse the both. Don't confuse them for each other because people be like, nah, paisas are down. They be with the cuernos and chivo. Like, no, those are narcotraficantes, carnal. That's not the same thing. But yes, I have met homies, in there, residents, whatever, that are paisas who are with the business. Don't get it twisted. But like I said, those are cholo paisas, not the same as a paisano, okay? So there's categories to this. When we're talking about paisas and Chicanos here, narcotraficantes, not cholo paisas. We're talking about paisas and Chicanos. Okay. So since, because we are proud to be from California. We are proud of the area where we come from. We have pride whether you're from Los Angeles, whether you're from Modesto, Stockton, Sacramento, Los Angeles, the Inland Empire, Riverside, Corona, Bell Gardens, North Hollywood, wherever you come from, you're proud of your area. You're proud of your city. You're proud of the of your stomping grounds. You know what I mean? We all have pride in the areas in which we come from. And just like them, when they come over, they're proud to be from Mexico and their ranchos and stuff like that, right? Because when they're over here, they're homesick and they don't like how it works down here, but they come here just because there's money here. There's not money over there. They got to do what they got to do, but they talk shit about, how it is over here and vice versa. When we go to Mexico, I have been to Mexico a lot of times. I have had some good times and some bad times, right? So I don't view it the same. And when I'm over there, it's like I can't wait to come back home. You know what I mean? I mean, it's fun and all of that, but I wouldn't want to live there, like, let's say, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't feel like home. And when over here, it feels like home already. You know what I mean? And before I made this video, I made sure to talk to several people and ask them how do they view it. And they told me the same thing too, that they view this as their home, like they're comfortable here, that this is home to them. And even my homies that have gotten deported, you know what I mean? But they were raised here, but they were brought over here like when they were 1 or 2 years old. They wish they could come back. They said that they want to come back, that they don't like it over there. Even though that's where our roots are, but they were already raised here. They're already accustomed to here. You know what I mean? And there's no place like home, like they say, right? And same, when they come over here, all these, the paisa guys that I work with, they always talk about how they can't wait to go back to Mexico and the rancho and they miss it and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And they're always talking shit about right here and talking shit about this and that. I should know. I work with these individuals. You know what I mean? But that doesn't only happen like with our raza. It happens with every group when there's a clash between groups. For example, in my job, there's an African homie, right? Who came from Africa, right? He has a heavy accent too. And there's, we have blacks in my job too, and the African homie is always talking shit to the black fools. He doesn't like them, and he doesn't like when you try to confuse, like saying that they're the same, right? Like, oh, well, their roots are, could be traced back to Africa, and he's like, no, they're not African, you know. he hates when people say that, you know what I mean? Because he doesn't view them as Africans, you know what I mean? He's always talking shit about them, talking shit about blacks, from the United States, he be calling them like those are the ends and stuff like that. He be saying shit like that, bro. Like I be tripping out. I'm just like, damn, what the hell? And these fools don't like it because he's always talking shit, about, well, the guy's older already too, you know what I mean? And these guys are a little bit more younger, but excuse me, I don't blame them for being mad because he's out here be talking a lot of shit. And, homies have told me that that's not the first time that has happened, that a lot of, blacks from Africa, they don't like, blacks from other places. And I think that's why the difference between cultures, right? They don't view them as true Africans or whatever, and just like the Mexicans don't view us as real Mexicans because we weren't brought up in the motherland. But see, that's because the difference in our cultures, right? Even though we're all fucking same DNA, blood, or roots or whatever, but it's funny because humans are so intelligent. We could create and our there is no pinnacle to our knowledge, right? And information that we could learn and gather and stuff like that, right? And we have been able to accomplish some of the greatest things that people wouldn't even be able to fathom back then, yet we still have internal beefs and conflicts over the most smallest, pettiest things. In all groups, not just raza, but with blacks and even with Caucasians or Anglo-Saxons amongst themselves, because how people all view all whites the same is not true, because back then the Americans used to attack the Italians and the Jews and the Irish. Right? They wouldn't see them as real Americans and they're immigrants and stuff like that. But, other groups might be looking from the house looking in. They'll be like, man, you're white, though. But see, they don't see, no, I'm Irish. No, I'm Italian. They don't confuse their, you know what I mean? Because they don't like that shit either. But see, because the cultures are different. The skin tones may look the same, you know what I mean? But their cultures are different, and instead of having a problem with it, you should just embrace other people's cultures and understand that people are just going to be different than you. You know what I mean? And instead of hating on them or thinking that you're better, no, you guys are equal. It's just that you guys do things differently and like different stuff, and that's perfectly fine. Nobody has to be the same in this world, and it's people understanding that is when true peace will come. When you are able to understand that people are going to be different than you, and that's perfectly fine. No soy menos, no soy más, somos igual. I'm not less and I'm not more. We are the same. That's what that, picture in the background. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Leave your opinions in the comments. MC Shadow, we out. Don't forget to like and subscribe.